Start it. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for March 6th, 2019. Q's down about 0.5%. SPY down a little over 0.5%. Just wanted to point this out. Don't usually follow the IWM as closely. It is known to lead the markets. A little bit more weakness here in the IWM. Okay, so just I think if you were looking for continued weakness today, this was a good way to clue you in here. A nice downtrend on the IWM. But we'll focus on the Qs and SPY here going into tomorrow first. Okay, so coming into today, we were looking at the hourly chart here, was looking higher. And then if we break below yesterday's low, which we have yet to do on the Qs, the low from 2 days ago. Sorry, the low from 2 days ago, this pivot, then we would lose the bullish bias. So we're definitely basing at this area and threatening to break through it. That just will result in us going back to a neutral bias. Okay, we weren't able to get back over the high set from the gap up. Okay, but the daily here, at least on the Qs, is still intact. SPY is a little bit more damaged, but still technically an uptrend. Okay, so we'll be looking at the low here, 172.47 there on the Qs. Break of that, we will lose the bullish bias. And then on the SPY here, looking at not that different from today's low, 276.84. Okay, where's today's low? 276.97. Okay, we break that. We'll go to a short-term neutral bias, long-term still bullish here. And then what we'll do is we'll use the hourly. If we break below the low from Monday, we will look for the next either sell setup or breakdown, and we can initiate a bearish bias from there. All right. So, yeah, going into tomorrow, more of a wait and see. Now that we have a neutral bias, we are threatening this hourly to go into a downtrend. So that's what we'll be watching. Okay. All right. I think overall, not the widest range bar here, but we are starting to see an increase in volatility. If we look at what we got on Monday, what we got today. So perhaps we are starting to see things change. I think it's just a little bit too early to commit to a bearish bias from here. Okay. So we'll wait and see if we actually get some kind of hourly downtrend and then let this daily trend break, and then we'll be ready for a bearish bias. Okay, so let's go into what we saw today. Okay, I had A and F as the #1 gap, so on an aggressive entry is okay. I do consider 1 minute high lows, 2 minute high lows to be aggressive. You do want the entry to match up with the quality of the gap, and the ANF was given this morning as just a 2 minute high low here. Okay, so gives you an opening range here, shows two-way trading here, means we got a topping tail, bottoming tail. Basically, we saw buying and selling occur, and then we got the resolution here. Okay, 2440 by 2395. Those were the numbers. I was looking at 26 as the target, just the closure of the gap on the daily here. And it definitely got further than that. Similar kind of uptrend in a weak market as the C trip yesterday. So, focusing on the right things, I think this week been pretty good. And even into, the end of last week, I thought we've been doing pretty well. On the picking the right ones, focusing on the right symbols. Okay, and then the other idea that I gave this morning was the LYB. Okay, and this was a pullback on the LYB. Okay, you got a nice pullback in here, and then waited for this to kind of stabilize. And then once we get a bit of a higher high, you can see it's kind of struggling, a higher high there over that. With a stop here underneath 87.80. Gave it a little bit of room because it had like 6 to 8 cents spread, and then targeting the high of the day. Okay, and that was the only ideas. I think I was watching this TSG, and if you recall, not last Friday, but the Friday before, I noticed that there was only one reversal time that was causing me some trouble. And so I was going to be a little bit more careful about the plays that I take around this reversal time, the 10:30 reversal time. So when I came across this TSG, I did like the gap. We'll take a look at the gap in a second. Showed a lot of strength at the open. Kind of made a big move, but we got a nice base here. And so we got this set up, and it was triggering right ahead of this reversal time that I realized is one that seems to get me into some plays that don't work. So I said, okay, I'll let it trigger, and then I'll wait for the next one. So that means, what is the next one? That means instead of getting it over this base, right, say over here, over 1810 or so, I'm going to wait. I'll let it get a reaction, and then over 1820 I'll play it. Okay, so here's the reaction. So this was looking good. If it were to trigger, instead didn't work, and so avoided any kind of issues there. So then this kind of was able to hold up okay, and then was kind of looking like it was going to set up again here, but it didn't trigger again. So this was a given. The only idea I gave in the afternoon that I gave you numbers on, and it ended up not triggering, and so no harm, no foul on the TSG. Sorry, I left that LYB up there, not to confuse those numbers with the TSG numbers. So that was kind of it. I didn't think there was really all that much today. I did focus on the longs. I'm sure there were some pretty good shorts. I mean, I have no doubt that there were some good shorts. We saw some good follow through on stuff like the LG&D, for instance. This had a gap down, got nice follow through. You got a nice little sell set up there that followed through. But yeah, I only gave numbers on the ANF and the LYB. The TSG I did put numbers out, but it never triggered. And so that was pretty much it. So, these really stood out. Market was showing weakness, and these were showing a lot of strength. So you can see kind of the follow through that they got. I mean, there were some things that also moved really nicely, like this DLTR, but I didn't see a good entry in this, at least as far as this run up here. So that's okay. I mean, there can be plenty of things that move well, that just, you don't have to catch everything that moves. But as long as you kind of know what to focus on, right, it's a little bit easier to just accept. I guess this maybe high of the day breakout was okay. I don't think it was that good, but it was okay. But overall, I thought it was pretty sloppy in the morning. So it wouldn't have been an easy play, I don't think, on the DLTR, even if you got it early. It would have been a matter of being able to hold through all this sloppiness before you really saw a nice profit. So I thought the ANF and the LYB were pretty painless, were pretty good. I know some people took both of them, so it's always good to see, but that's what I was focused on this morning. And then in the afternoon, there was just, I didn't have anything to do really. I didn't see anything set up all that well. And so we'll see what we get tomorrow. I did take a look at the earnings list. It's not, the names aren't that big. I think we have like Kroger and KR and FNSR and some other names. So we'll see if they give us some good gaps. Just be aware that it is winding down now into the final, I think probably the final week of earnings season. And then we'll from here get a much thinner set of earnings names coming up. So, don't be surprised if in the weeks to come, it's a little bit less active as far as number of plays per day. Okay, I guess even here you're starting to see that. Just a couple plays from me today. Okay, so going into tomorrow, what I'll be watching is the lows here from Monday, 172.47 on the Qs, and going to be 276.80 on the SPY. We break that, we are going to be looking for a bearish setup. Okay, well, we break that, we're neutral across the board on this hourly, and then on a sell setup or breakdown, all right, we should be okay for a bearish bias. We'll see what kind of follow through that gives. Okay, and then we'll be watching the daily next. Okay, once the hourly breaks, the daily, we'll keep an eye on the daily to see if that also sets up a bearish setup. And then, that's how we'll get time frame alignment for a bearish bias, which we just haven't really had this year. So still watching to see if we can't get a nice sell-off in March. I think that would kind of make things more interesting, give us more volatility, give us more things to trade in March, but not really within my control to get the market to sell off in March. So just wait and see, and watch to see what it sets up. Okay, so we'll be back at it tomorrow. I hope you had a good day today, and I will talk to you tomorrow. All right, have a great evening.